Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous coming to you with some Mixed League Mania out of the Shattered Temple. And why you lagging? Why you lagging, computer? All right, okay. There we go. Anyway, over here in the left-hand position we have Balawala spawning in as the Red Terran, and down here in the south position we have iMoDoomerX spawning in as the Blue Protoss. As this game starts off, I'd just like to apologize for yesterday. I had kind of a nasty cold, and I couldn't get more than like 4 words out without coughing and sneezing all over the place, which, of course, when you're yelling at a game of StarCraft 2, it doesn't work. You can't, because, I mean, I can make my coughs very emotionful, and they could tell you the story. However, I don't think it would get it across just as, quite as well as words. And also, iMoDoomerX is it's fairly interesting to cast the game from him, because I think this is a game that he actually sent in before he started this new thing that he's doing. But he's doing a Twitch TV project, I would call it, and he's calling it the DoomerX Show, and he's just kind of streaming himself playing games every Monday through Thursday from 4 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, I do believe. There will be more information and more links down in the description, to Battle.net threads and stuff like that about it. And it's something that you guys should definitely check out, because it's one of those lower level kind of streams, but it's always nice to watch somebody get better over a progressive amount of time, especially if they're doing it, averagely an hour a day or so. Just tune in for 5 minutes, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It doesn't really matter either way. But again, check that out. There will definitely be all of the stuff you need to find it down in the description. We actually have him going for kind of an interesting Forge FE, and by that I mean not a Forge FE at all. Usually you see people drop the Forge and then the Nexus and then the Gateway and then a cannon, but it looks like he's just going to go for the Forge Gateway, and I wonder if he's going to put down a cannon after this Gateway finishes. I'd be surprised if he did, because really you want that Nexus down as fast as possible, otherwise you kind of just have a wall in an awkward spot. There's no other way to get around that. It's just a wall in an awkward spot, and actually he's going for a cannon first, which is something I don't really agree with, because on average you don't need a cannon right now. Plus the fact is that this probe could have stayed in the base a bit longer, and the probe dies, so that's definitely a bit sloppy, considering the fact that he must have told it to hold position, and just let the SCV stab it in the back with his drill, which I don't think a lot of probes like. It's not the most comfortable back massaging tool, the SCV drill. It's typically pretty painful. And what's kind of interesting? All of the workers in this game have stuff that looks like it would kind of hurt. Like, the probes electrocute people, and the SCVs drill into people, and like the drones just like bite and like claw at people, and they don't do any damage. It's just kind of one of those almost backward things. I mean, like, I understand that a drill might not do as much damage as a gun, but a drill is still, it's not the most fun thing to get hit with, because it's a drill. It's a conical shaped, just thing that you turn on and then you just punch into people. I'm pretty sure it would do a fair amount of damage, or at least way more damage than they do in the game currently. And yeah, I don't quite understand why they don't do any damage in the game. And this is at this point, I don't think this can be called a fast expand anymore. This is just the standard build with the wall in awkward position. Because on this map, this is actually a pretty favorable ramp for Protoss. It's a nice spot. You can get stalkers up here to get any like tanks that people are for some reason sieging up around here. Plus the fact is that since the entryway is down here, it's much easier to line stalkers up over here and cover the walkway. Plus the fact that sentries can block this with a force field is always nice. Other than that, nothing all that interesting coming out from other players. I mean, just 3 tech lab racks, so really mass marauders and tanks coming out from Balawala, which I think is going to be almost an all-in, if not an all-in. It's kind of hard to expand off of this. especially if he decides to go for an attack, because really this is an amazingly aggressive force. And if it turns out that your opponent's going for Void Rays, which he hasn't shown any interest of going for, but again, he might be, then you're kind of screwed, for lack of a better words. You don't get out of going for all anti-ground units, and then it's like, oh, he came out with Void Rays. Now you're just dead. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a Void Ray opener, but again, I'm not quite sure, and it's definitely not going to be with that robotics facility coming down, as I finally remember to open up my overlays. I really need a checklist around here of stuff I need to do before I start recording. Just open overlays. Remember to close the replay panel, which I've actually been getting a lot better at, but still, I need checklists. Hopefully I'll actually remember to make one today. We have the Forge coming out with +1 attack, but this is a pretty scary force. And by pretty scary, I mean pretty much just frightening as hell, because this will absolutely decimate Stalker play. Maybe not so much Zealot play, but it will definitely destroy Zealot play if they don't have charge, and they don't have charge yet. So this is really, I mean, this is kind of what this is. It will absolutely destroy him. I could actually see him, Balawala, theoretically winning the game right now. This is not a good situation for iMoDoomerX, especially if he's going to just move units into the tanks. I guess that it's kind of Balawala's bad there, where he doesn't, didn't target the tanks onto the units that were moving towards the tanks, because he easily could have taken that out without having this tank take a ridiculous amount of damage, but he just didn't. And we actually have an Immortal coming out from iMoDoomerX, which is the right way to counter this, because Immortals can eat a lot of damage, and Stalkers, or Sentries running to their deaths is not the proper way to counter a very aggressive timing push from your Terran opponent. I know that's kind of a rare thing to see, but no, you don't want to. Don't run Sentries into Marauders and Siege Tanks. Not the best decision in the world. This Immortal, this is actually a really well placed siege tank, like a really well placed siege tank, because it's just out of range of the Immortal, but at the same time it's just close enough. Like, this Immortal can just barely not hit it, but it's just so close. Oh, I think he could have busted up the ramp right there, and if he managed to bust up the ramp, he probably would have won the game, just because there's nothing else here, and he's pylon blocked. So this is one of those situations where Balawala can win, and there would basically be nothing stopping him. This Immortal just walks down like a boss and snipes a siege tank and completely scares the army off. Wow, I am amazed that Immortal is the scariest Immortal of all time. It just slowly crab walked down, shot the tank in the face, and that was it. It was the scariest thing ever for our Terran player. And he was just like, this is too real for me. Getting out. I like what iMoDoomerX is doing right now by going for this Zealot Charge, because Zealot Charge is an amazingly useful ability to use against siege tanks, because it just allows your Zealots to be actually effective against siege tanks, because they can close the distance instantaneously. And if the siege tanks are spread out in a line, then even though they're still getting shelled, the tanks are getting shelled with them, and that tanks shelling each other is actually a pretty significant amount of damage. It's not quite where it was with Brood War, where just using Terran Splash against Terran was the only way to kill Terran. Because you'd use Zealot mine bombs and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go into Brood War strategy theory in a StarCraft 2 cast. But again, Charge Zealots are pretty good in this game. Plus, Immortals are amazing against tanks, because Immortals are units that can lead against tanks. I think where I first saw Immortals leading against tanks would have been the EG's Master Cup. And it was a 2v2 game, alright? It wasn't on Shattered Temple, it was on, I forget what map it was on. Typhoon, I think? Typhoon sounds right, but I might be thinking of the completely wrong map. But basically, you had a line like this of siege tanks, except there was like 12. And this guy from the other team just took one Immortal, and he walked it into that siege tank line, and then as that first siege tank volley went off, him and his teammate just charged in, and it was like one of the most ridiculous plays ever, because the Immortal didn't even die. Like, the Immortal came right up next to dying and then just lived, and like, I remember watching that, and it was just one of the most ridiculous things ever, because you just saw this Immortal walk up, take like a giant volley of tank shells, and then all the tanks died. It was almost a 0 loss victory for them, I think. When they were clearing out all those Marines, I think, or all those tanks, I think a couple of pockets of Marines died, but other than that, I think they got away scot-free, and it was pretty crazy. If I can find that VOD, I'll definitely link to it somewhere, because honestly, it was an awesome VOD. And in this game, see, like, just look at that. This Immortal just ate a tank shell to the face and took no damage. And this one just ate 3, and again, no damage. Immortals are really good against siege tanks. However, I don't know, why isn't he busting up the ramp? He can bust up the ramp. Definitely not a good decision to not bust up the ramp there. I guess that this is a pretty scary army. However, wow, this is a really scary army. Zealots are a lot better than I thought they were. Zealot Immortal. That's where you want to go as a PvT player right now. This is actually kind of not right. I mean, I understand. Actually, it's not even because of super upgrade differences. He only has a 1 attack advantage. Zealots are just really good against Marauders. I'm amazed that Balawala really isn't macroing at all. Neither player is macroing that well. They're both at pretty insane. Whoa. And they only have 30 odd workers each. That's not the amount of money you want when you have 30 workers. When you have 30 workers, you want 0 money, typically, because 0 money is a good amount of money in StarCraft 2 to have. And considering the fact you only have 30 workers, that's the amount of money you should have, really. You shouldn't go under that. Or over that amount, sorry. You want 0. You want to be spending it as it comes in, because honestly 30 workers is pretty easy to work with. And we have the Dark Shrine coming out from our Protoss player, because even when you're ahead, Dark Shrine it up. Actually, he might not be ahead, but still, Dark Shrine it up. I think he's ahead in Harvesters, yes, but that doesn't really matter because there's Mules. And interestingly, even though he just called down 3 Mules, but he didn't use up all the energy on either command center. So it wasn't even like one command center was at 150 energy and he called down 3 Mules and then he just forgot the other one. No, he clicked on both command centers and he called down 3 Mules and he was like, I have this extra energy, better save it. And that's interesting. We have plus 3 plus 1 upgrades coming out from iMoDoomerX with his level 3 attacks on the way and a level 1 armor on the way, and that's going to be a really scary Protoss ball. This is a reasonably scary one, and once you get it up to the point where they're that upgraded, it's incredibly frightening, especially with Dark Templars in the mix. Dark Templar, or plus 3 attack Dark Templars, clean up. They will absolutely destroy everything they come into contact with in the face with a sledgehammer. I guess it's technically a warp blade, however, sledgehammers are much cooler. So, sledgehammers all the way. This Dark Templar is actually going to go out and just scout it onto the map. This SCV is just casually waiting at the Zelnaga Tower. And this... is there any detection? There isn't... there ain't no detection. That's not... there can't be no detection. He snipes the SCV building the missile turret. He snipes the other SCV building the missile turret. This is really well done. And these SCVs are actually getting cleaned up by this Dark Templar. That's 7 SCV kills for the Dark Templar, which brings his opponent down to 23 Harvester to his 33. So the Protoss player is definitely ahead right now. Especially with the gas stores of the Terran player. That basically means he's been making Marauders, and that's it, because Marauders are really heavy on minerals, like really heavy on minerals. They cost 100 minerals and 25 gas, so it's like a 4 to 1, and he's a 2,000 gas. He needs to be making some gas heavy units. He needs them Medevacs, I'd say. It's really the only gas heavy thing he can build right now. Ghosts are kind of gas heavy, but they're not nearly as gas heavy as they could be. And interestingly, I think that was an observer that just got chronoed out and sent over to die. Yeah, this is definitely in the Protoss player's court right now. It's kind of bad for our Terran player, because he doesn't, I mean, he finally has detection now, so these Dark Templar are just going to just absolutely stop in their tracks, and they're not going to be able to do anything, and that's definitely a plus. Actually, are they? They're just going to camp the gold. They're just waiting on it. They're ready to go. Interestingly, I don't know, this is a really hardly turned, oh god, he's not going, he's going, is he doom dropping? Are you serial? Why would you doom drop in a situation like this? You are not nearly far enough ahead. Plus he's doom dropping -3 tanks. Which isn't even really a doom drop, it's just a really big drop, because the doom drop is like, you drop into a position in your opponent's base, and then you siege up and you create like a base in their base, except it's just a base made out of units, because siege tanks are really dangerous units. And he's not going to be able to do that with 4 medevacs and marauders, and it gets scouted by the observer. The hero observer sees what's up, and this entire army, although a bit late, is going to easily be able to clean this up. Just absolutely no issue. Okay, maybe not clean it up because there are medevacs here, and if he actually does manage to clean this up, that's kind of sad. Is he going to clean this up? Lift off. Fly away. He has nothing. He has nothing that can. He had nothing that could shoot air, and you just lost an entire 5 medevac drop to nothing that could shoot air. Man, gee willikers. I'm not actually gonna say what league these guys are in for Mixed League Mania, but I'm guessing that you guys can guess, and if you want to guess, just post it in the comments. Just make it a fun little game. Guess what league the Terran player's in, guess what league the Protoss player's in. I'm just, actually, if you go back to other Mixed League Mania games and you watch them, and then you want to guess on those two, do it. I think it'll be kind of interesting to see what league you guys think it'll be. Then probably in like a week or so I'll actually post their league. And here comes the Immortal leading, like I was explaining earlier. And just these things can take, I don't know why they're so close together, but they can take so much punishment without going down. I think he almost loses an Immortal there. But honestly, you know, that was a siege tank dead for nothing on his side, except for, you know, some shields on the Immortal. And then the surround with the Zealots, and that's completely cleaning up his opponent's force. And there we go, Balawala has left the game. Anyway guys, you can check out any other games I've commentated over at youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you have any questions, comments, gripes, anything like that, go ahead and post them in the Battle.net thread. Again, check out this guy's Twitch TV channel. That is iMoDoomerX's Twitch TV channel. I believe it's twitchtv.com/doomerx. However, I will be 100% sure with the link when I put it into the description of the video. Also, you can send in any games you want commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I think I might have just said that twice. And just to be safe and cover all my bases, head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Remember to subscribe, favorite the videos, post whatever you want on the channel walls. And just by the way, guys, I'm mad at YouTube right now because I do not like the new channel design, and I have to update it to March 7th. I don't like it. I'm gonna say it right out there. If anybody from YouTube listens to this for some reason, I don't like it. No, the new channel design is not good. The old one is so much better. But anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.